Hello guys, Craig from fixitfallows, and I'm still rocking the new fixitfallows t-shirt that I got for Christmas, and we are currently between Christmas and New Year, so I am still pottering and tinkering away in the garage. And today, what am I working on? Well, it's going to be back on the BXT 145 Pro. So a little while ago I put out a video about this bike and I was talking about a weird kind of clicking, rocking sensation I was getting from what appeared to be the crank or the pedal areas, and I kind of focused on the pedals because I'm using these Ultegra, Shimano Ultegra pedals, and there is a tiny little bit of play in there, and it was that I was attributing this weird feeling I was getting when I was pedaling. So anyway, I stripped these down, I tried to service them, and it didn't seem to be any way to take up that slack. And from what I understand, there is just an inherent amount of movement, tiny little bit of movement in these pedals. And on further investigation, I'm not actually thinking that that is what the issue is. Spotlight has shone onto the T47 bottom bracket that I used for this bike. So we're going to get it down and have a further investigation. Right, okay then, so we've got the bike down here. I've taken the chain off so that we can manipulate the crank around quite freely. Now, if you remember, when I built this bike, I didn't use the T47 bottom bracket cups that came with the bike from BXT. So I didn't use the BXT bottom bracket. If you remember rightly, that's because I've got my battery installed here and I didn't want the battery rubbing against the spindle or axle of the crank. So I wanted a bottom bracket that had a sensor shroud on it. So I used one from Ztto, and it's been fine, other than the fact that I seem to have identified a problem now with it. Now the Ztto bottom bracket is not very expensive, so I'm not too bothered about the fact that I might not be using it from this point onwards. But anyway, let me illustrate what's happening to you. Now I've taken the two bolts out of the crank arm there, and we're just using solely the sensor lock cap, which I've got quite tight at the moment. Anyway, look, so that's fully loose. I'm just going to do it kind of like to the recommended, which is just like finger tight like that. And when I rock the arm, when I hold the drive side and the non-drive side arms, there is definite play in this bottom bracket. Okay, but it spins nice and freely. Now I have to do it up quite tight. I mean, you know, much tighter than I think like the 2 to 3 nanometers of tightness that they suggest, in order to eliminate that rocking. Okay, but now it doesn't spin quite so freely. Okay, it only goes, what, one revolution and then it stops. So that's definitely too tight. So we need to back it off. So if I back it off, but now the play's come back. So anyway, if I take that completely out, take the crank arm off and slide the crank out. Okay, put that to one side. Now we just have the bottom bracket in situ. Now, immediately, when I grab hold of this inner part of the bottom bracket, it's sloppy. There's loads of play there. Not on the other side. The other side, the insert is completely firm. No play in it at all. But on this side, terrible play. So they're on all 24 size bottom brackets. You will find that so this is 24 mil across here. You'll find that the spindle or axle of the crank itself never sits directly into the bearings. There's a plastic insert that takes up the final mil or whatever it is of size. But on this side of this bottom bracket, the insert is loose. Right, okay, I've got a good close-up here. Let me show the amount of play in this bottom bracket. Right, so just as a contrast, here are the actual bottom brackets that came from BXT. These are BXT bottom brackets, but as I say, these were just separated cups like this, and I needed one with a sort of central shroud over it, so this is why I never used these. But just to illustrate, look, these are the inserts on these bottom brackets. You can see on the other side there, you can see the silver bit of the bearing, and then the plastic bit lines the inside of the race. And that plastic bit is the same as this plastic bit here, and there is no play on that at all. Okay, nice and solid and firm. Okay, now I have to be honest, when I fitted this Ztto one back in the summer of last year, I never actually checked that play when I installed it, so I can't say whether it was like it when I put it in or it's something that's developed over time. So it could be that it came like that and it was just 40 rather than it having deteriorated. All I can say is the drive side doesn't do it, only this non-drive side. So that said, it's got to come out and it's going to get replaced. But I can't replace it with this because, again, it still doesn't have the central sort of tunnel shroud, whatever you want to call it, which I need. So I'm going to have to get a different bottom bracket. Right, so let's take the old one out. So using the Ztto spanner for the Ztto bottom bracket, this is one of the frustrating things. All the manufacturers kind of have different sizes for the bottom bracket. So it's a T47, but the diameter across there is different from the BXT one. And it's actually different from the one that I'm going to replace, but we'll come to that in a minute. And out comes the drive side along with the central cap bit. Right, so here we are with the Ztto bottom bracket that I've just taken out. This is the BXT bottom bracket that I've never used. And then this is the new one that I've sourced by a company called Senicx. As you can see, the Ztto one comes with its own tool, okay, which does not fit this one. So I've had to buy a new tool. This is for BB52 T47, 16 tooth with the inner diameter of these little notches being, what does that say there, 48.8 mil, and the outer diameter at 53, and they quote it as BB52. This, on the other hand, is quoted as BB386. Doesn't give the dimensions, but I can assure you that does not fit on there. And then let's see, if I take this one, you can see how much smaller that is. That just rotates around in there, doesn't fit. So you have to have the right tool for the right bottom bracket. So anyway, the new one, Senicx, comes nicely packaged. Okay, they do a ceramic bearing version. I didn't see the need for that. I really don't see the need for it personally. I've just gone for standard bearings. So T47 for an 85.5 or 86 mil bottom bracket on the frame with a 24 mil crank axle spindle. Weighs 122 grams. So let's open this up. Okay, first things first, comes with quite a comprehensive sort of crib sheet. Okay, one side it says for fitments to mountain bike frames. It goes through all the different bottom bracket frame shell variations, BSA T47 press fit 30 and BB 30, frame widths, and it tells you how many spacers that you may require for that combination, and then likewise for your road and your gravel frames. Now, my frame's a T47. It's an 85.5mm width shell on the frame, and I'm using a Shimano 24mm crank axle spindle, and it's telling me I don't need any spacers, which is what I already had set up on the bike anyway. So it's pretty comprehensive. The bottom bracket itself comes in a bit of bubble wrap, then it's in a plastic bag, and there we are. Branded Senicx 24mm, tells you how much to tighten by. So that's for the left side, and that's for the right side. Again, it tells you your lefts and rights on the central hub. The seals on this seem quite nice and solid. There you go. And more importantly, the inserts, well, first of all, the bearings rotate. They have a really reassuring movement to them, and there is no play in that whatsoever. So let me get that fitted to the bike. Right, so first things first, let's put the drive side in, the right hand side. So we'll offer it through, making sure all of my cables and battery are out of the way. And then let's just gently get those threads engaged. Okay, so I've just done that top side finger tight for the time being. I'm now going to offer in the left hand side, making sure it marries up with the cage in there, or the shell. Right, we can now take the tool Okay, it's all nice and tight. Right, we can now offer our crank back through. And then place our drive side crank arm on. Put our nut back in there, our pre-tensioner. I'm just going to do that finger tight, and let's see how much it spins. Okay, it spins quite nicely. Let's see the play. No play whatsoever. We can now put our bolts back in. Okay, now they've been done up incrementally, hand tight, I can now torque them to spec, which is between 12 and 14 nanometers. So I've got my torque wrench set to 13. Just gotta get that on there. So we've still got to tighten it up incrementally on both sides. Hasn't clicked yet. Just Still hasn't clicked yet. There's the first one. And there's the second one. So they're torqued to spec. Okay, I can now take that out of there. Let's test for play. No, no play in there whatsoever. Yeah, looks like I might have resolved it, so time will tell. Anyway, I've just got to get the chain back on and then we can give the bike a bit of a test. Okay, there's the chain back on. Right, well, I can't feel any movement at all through the crank. Admittedly, it's not out on the road, I'm not standing, but this definitely feels like an improvement. It was quite clear that the bearing on the non-drive side of the old bottom bracket definitely had play in it. So for now, this Senicx bottom bracket seems to have resolved the issue. Obviously, I got this on AliExpress. This was about £18.5 and it was about £4 for the tool. The Ztto one was about 18.5 quid for the bottom bracket and the tool. So anyway, for now, this seems to have resolved things. So thanks for watching. Please be sure to give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe, check out some of these other videos. And going on how out of breath I am, looks like Christmas has taken its toll on me. So I think I better get out of this clobber, get my Lycra on and have a proper session. So thanks a lot. See you again very soon. Bye bye.